Just like most people, at the start of the year, I used to be full of energy, excited about my goals, armed with my vision board, ready with my planners. But a few weeks in, all that motivation would fade, inconsistency would creep in. And then I'd become so disappointed in myself. And before I knew it, I'll be either trying to downsize my dream or talk myself out of it altogether. So I began to ask myself, how do I break the cycle? How do you keep going after the January hype wears off? And so over time, I adopted this one habit, simple yet powerful habit that helped me break the cycle. And the key here is shifting your focus from big goals to daily progress. Show up and go all in, not for the week, not for the month, but for today. The secret lies in the word daily. I hope you can give me a few minutes of your time as I share with you how committing to intentional daily actions helped me achieve some of my challenging goals and how you too can adopt that habit to win this year. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Chantal. Here I share content that helps you get clear on that which you've been called to do, but most importantly, how to actually get it done, but without compromising your faith, values, and your principles. So if that's something that resonates with you, then this is a safe space for you to hang out. Now, let me share with you one of the times when this habit proved effective. And this is during the designing of my website. I had the big picture in mind. I would be so excited whenever I visualize it, but at the same time, overwhelmed by the process. So instead of taking action, I kept talking about it to friends, family, romanticizing the idea in my head, but really doing nothing about it. And one day I was like, girl, if you keep up like this, nothing will come to fruition. And what I did next became a turning point, not just for this project, but for accomplishing other goals in different areas of my life. The first is creating inner stability. I had to first of all calm down from all that anxiety and overwhelm because my actions were changing with every fleeting thought. I was easily distracted in my mind, and there's no way I could be creative from such a space. See, this year, before you go investing in any productivity tool, be reminded that you are the best productivity tool that you have, and it's free. Any other productivity tool, resources that you go out there to get, needs you in order for it to do what it has been designed to do. So, first, invest in this productivity tool. Invest in your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well being. Are your daily actions guided by the intentions you have set, or are they controlled by your emotions? Are you giving yourself the sleep, exercise, and healthy nutrition that it needs? How about what you're feeding your mind? What are you consuming? Remember that the things you tell yourself, you consume, you read, you watch, that's an investment that will either build or break you because we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. See, anybody can set goals, anybody can dream big, but if you do not have the necessary energy and sound mind to go all in daily, then the change that you desire to see will just remain wishes or New Year's resolutions on paper, if at all you've even written them down. Now, after dealing with all this inner instability, and when I say after dealing with it, it's not like it's an overnight job or a one time thing. You see, inner transformation is a continuous process. Every day, my mind is being renewed. Every day, God opens my understanding to see and embrace who I am in Him. I see my inabilities outside Him, but I see the possibilities of what can be done through me in Him. So it's a continuous process, but while that is going on, you have to show up. For most of us, our failure begins when we don't show up at all. And why do we not show up at all? Because we have the all or nothing mindset. It's either I do it perfectly or I don't do it at all. If I can't have clarity for the whole journey, then I'll not start at all. If I cannot pray for an hour, then I'll not pray at all. If you can't exercise for an hour, show up for 10 minutes. If you cannot clean the whole house, start with that one closet. If you cannot save thousands of dollars, start by saving 5 every week. You have a business idea, pick up that phone and call that friend who has gone ahead of you or call that mentor. People are willing to help than you think. Don't be intimidated by your lack of clarity of the entire journey. You don't have to see the end from the beginning. You're not God. Don't stress about the entire year. Just ask yourself, what can I do today towards the change that I want to see in my life? When you identify that immediate action, tell yourself that I will give it my best. And if I fall off the wagon, I will run and catch up on that moving wagon immediately. Don't tell yourself, well, I already ate unhealthy today. I've fallen off the plan, so I might as well just eat unhealthy throughout the week and then we'll start again on Monday. No, we're always starting again on Monday or in January. No, we're going all in daily. For my website, I started by writing down what I wanted, why I wanted it, and how I wanted it to eventually serve those who visited. And then after that, I did my research, talked to a few people who had gone ahead of me in that area. And then I started one day at a time. Domain name today, homepage tomorrow. And before I knew it, everything was done. And I was like, how did I get here? Oftentimes, action leads to clarity and not the other way around. When you decide to show up daily and focus on one task at a time, something powerful happens. The next step becomes clearer. You suddenly free yourself from that pressure to be perfect and you seek excellence. Right now, as we speak, my website is still being worked on to really reflect what I have in mind. You see, you can never improve on an idea that is in your mind, but you can a million times improve on an idea that has been birthed into the world. When you focus on daily progress, the process also becomes simpler. When it's simpler, you're more consistent. When you're more consistent, it becomes a habit. When it's a habit, it's kind of second nature to you and you don't need to rely on so much motivation to get things done. How many of us need to be motivated to pick up our phones and scroll through it? Because it's become a habit. So daily progress makes you to start believing that you're the kind of person that gets up and gets things done. And that's when self-doubt moves out of the door and self-confidence comes in. Self-doubt and toxic self-criticism used to be a big demotivator for me. But when I learned to celebrate my wins and not magnify my mistakes, it helped me to keep on with my daily progress. On those days when things are less exciting, you feel demotivated, or your day is not just going as planned, focus on the things you've accomplished rather than those things that are not going well. Celebrate your daily progress no matter how small. Only you and God knows what it took to get there. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're definitely not where you started. You see, when I look at the all-round growth that has happened in my life just between last year and this year, it's worth acknowledging. Instead of thinking, when will I finish this book? Say, wow, I wrote a page today. Good job. Instead of comparing yourself with others, say, wow, I exercised twice this week compared to none last week. And that's progress. Don't wait until you've reached the finish line to celebrate. You may reach that finish line and the excitement may not even be as much as you thought. It may not last as long as you thought because growth is a never-ending thing. There's always the next level. What really stays with you are the experiences on the journey to that accomplishment. Now imagine if you made it a miserable one because you refused to be in the moment, be present, and take things one step at a time. One of the reasons why we struggle to celebrate our wins is because we don't even measure progress, or we measure it the wrong way. Sometimes we're measuring our progress against some ideal things we had on our minds, or we're measuring progress against someone else's journey, and that can be demotivating, especially if they are way ahead of you. Rather, look back and see how far you've come. I think this is the one time that it's okay to look back. That's why it's very important to every now and then revisit your goals and reflect on them. But then this is not possible if you don't even have those goals written down. Have you written down your vision for the year? I did not say, do you have a vision? Do you have desires? We all do, but have you written them down? There is power in writing things down. Maybe you had a busy start to your year. That's okay. Towards the end of last year, I was equally very busy. Thank God I had the opportunity to be a part of a women's retreat, and that helped to slow me down. And I got into the year more focused. What are you waiting for? Now you're in the new year. Write those goals down. Or are you that person saying all this goal setting and planning stuff, I'm not into them, they don't work? You see, what I've noticed is that most of the people who make these statements, shockingly, have never sat down to actually set a specific goal and write it down. So, how do you know? Because if you've really done that, you will make such a statement. So, please write down those desires, commit them to God, and then break them down into specific goals, and then go all in daily. And finally, pursue your dreams this year with the understanding that this is a journey you go by faith and not by sight. It's a journey of surrender and not one of self-reliance on your abilities. I shared this Bible story in last week's video and I want to bring it up again. The fishermen who spent all night trying to catch fish, but they caught nothing. Then Jesus shows up and says, "Throw your nets one more time over there." They were like, "But all night we've tried. Nothing happened." Remember, these are experienced people. They had the ability. They knew how to do the job. But they said, "Nevertheless, at thy word, we are going to do it." I want you to go through this year holding and believing the word of God like your next breath depends on it, because it actually depends on it. If you rely on yourself, your abilities, your opportunities, your resources, you may toil all night and not catch fish. But nevertheless, if you go by what the word of God says, you are going to catch so much that your nets will be breaking. So this year, do not rely solely on motivation, which will come and go. Be committed to showing up daily. And if you're ready to make that commitment, then let me know in the comment section below. What's that one small action you're ready to take today?